Politica all the way. Politica all the way. Politica all the way.
Ay, Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao, and those watching all over the world and nakikinig po sa ating programang Politika All the Way. Ito po si Jojo A. And unang-una po, maraming salamat dun sa mga nakukuha naming very, very good feedback sa lahat na nanonood sa amin. There's so many that watch us and they say that they're able to learn things and they're able to talk about things, the issues, no, na in a light manner na medyo open na this time to open communication and bantering na may intelligent naman, hindi masama, no emotions involved masyado. Precisely yun ang pag-uusapan natin dahil painit ng painit ang ating usapang politika dito sa ating bansa, lalo na with the arrest, legal or illegal, as some would say it, ni Presidente Duterte, the upcoming or the impeachment in the offing ni Vice President Sara Duterte, tapos yung ano pa, yung mga issues na nandito sa bansa mismo natin, the common issues natin, high prices, gasoline, and everything else, economics, no? It is but fitting na dapat ang guest natin ngayon is somebody learned in all these things, the issues, political, economics, and everything else about the country, no? Pero wala ang kanyang focus lang ay yung talagang mga tao at ating bansa. I'd like to call it a political app para medyo yung mga bata mas makakayong app, APP. Our guest today is a political app. A, he is an analyst. P, a pundit. And more than anything else, another P is a patriot. He is for the country. Yeah, and he is a political analyst known all over the world, here and abroad, UST Political Science and Grad School faculty member, and he holds a PhD in Public Administration. Please welcome Professor Doc Froilan Calilong. Doc!
Thank you so much.
Oh.
Thank you so much, Sir Jojo. And it's a pleasure being here. And looking forward to a very insightful discussion.
Oo nga, actually, the pleasure is all mine. Excited nga ako eh, hindi ko makontain. Kaya nag-iisip ako, paano ba dapat na, but first off, you are you hold a doctorate, you have a PhD in public administration and everything else. Unang tanong ko niyan, Doc, ikaw ang go-to person ng napakaraming media institutions, both here and abroad. Tanong ko lang, ikaw ba hindi ka naman persona non grata sa mga lugar-lugar dito? Hindi naman, ha?
So far, hindi pa naman.
So far,
Hindi pa naman po umabot.
Hindi pa umabot. Kasi may mga kaibigan,
Yeah.
may kaibigan akong ganyan eh, magaling din, pero parang hindi ko alam kung ano nangyari. Parang no? But, these things happen. You cannot please everyone, no?
Yes.
Kaya, but anyway, let's get down to brass tacks. I want this to be departmentalized as much as we can. Para din sa akin, let's look at all these things that are happening, the legal point of view, the social point of view, no? Legal muna. Yung nangyari kay Duterte, kay Digong. Ano yan? Is it legal? Because there are so many sides to it, no?
Yeah.
Ikaw, what's your take on this?
Well, kung ako ang tatanungin, batay doon sa mga pagtalakay at yun sa pangyayari talaga na naganap ng araw na yon, maliwanag na may mga paglabag, particularly doon sa constitutionality. Mula doon sa pag-aresto, pagdating doon sa pagbabasa ng kanyang mga karapatan, batay na rin doon sa mga nakalagay doon sa mismong arrest warrant. There were some, I believe, systemic and structural defects. No? Particularly doon sa unang-una, yung hindi talaga nabigyan ng maayos na due process. Secondly, yung jurisdiction. That's another thing. Kasi maliwanag na tayo ay kumalas na sa Rome Statute, but then again, parang lumalabas dun sa point of arrest na parang ang may jurisdiction pa rin sa atin is ICC. Thirdly, maliwanag na hindi nanggaling sa isang competent Philippine court yung arrest warrant, and that is a dire violation doon sa nakasaad doon sa Rome Statute and doon din sa ating Republic Act 9851.
Oh, okay. So you're saying it has to be yung kailangan meron ba siyang kaakibat, Doc, na na Philippine courts na magbibigay din ng arrest warrant? Sabay ba yan? It has to be, at the same time, both the
not
ICC and the Philippine courts. Kasi ang contention nung iba, na nabasa ko naman ito, Doc, is precisely the reason why it was legal for the ICC to issue such warrant because wala nga ditong case si Presidente Duterte or former President Duterte. So, by virtue on inadmissibility or admissibility for that matter, hindi talaga, dapat talagang sila mag-issue ng warrant. And ang Philippine courts cannot issue any type of warrant.
Tama
of
yun.
arrest.
Actually, Sir Jojo, meron tayong tinatawag na principle of complementarity. Right?
Okay.
Na kung saan, dahil hindi tayo nakapag-file ng matitibay na kaso laban sa kanya, kinailangan pa ng intervention coming from an outsider, a
Yes.
foreign body like in the case of ICC. Pero kasi, maliwanag doon sa Rome Statute na bago gawin yung pagdakip o yung pagkuha doon sa tao, kinakailangan din na merong kaakibat na legal proceeding na naganap dito sa custodial state basically.
Okay.
Kasi
Okay.
kung hindi, that will be a violation of his right to due process, which is definitely being not only enshrined in the Constitution, Article 3 Section 1, maliwanag naman yan, na talagang lahat tayo entitled to due process. But more importantly, yung substantive and procedural due process, dapat yan nasusunod. And in the case of the arrest, halimbawa na lang, yung 15-page warrant, hindi ko alam kung ito ba ay nabasa man lang ng ating Pangulo o ng dating Pangulo, when in fact, napakaikli nung panahon that he was there in the NAIA and then nadala siya doon sa Villamor, di ba? Napakaikli ng panahon. I don't know if he was able to go through the entirety of the material itself, the warrant.
So everything na nangyari doon, you see that there's to a degree some degree of illegality of the procedure.
Sa akin parang parang masyado siyang minadali. Masyadong minadali na parang may hinahabol na hindi natin maintindihan. Pero the point is, when you are trying to do something like that, parang masyadong swift yung ating atake, yung sa iniisip natin na dispensation of justice. May mga legal loopholes tayo na medyo na-overlook.
Oh, okay.
At ito magiging dahilan to sa pagkakaroon ng isang legal question later on. Na ngayon nga, nakikita na natin.
When yung sinasabi mo legal question na yan, Doc, is kung nagsimula na yung actual trial. Kasi parang narinig ko yung foreign lawyer niya, parang very confident siya, Doc, na parang it's very simply put, I can have him out and go back to the Philippines by mere parang lumalabas I don't know if it's even the right word, illegal detention lang, parang gano'n, parang forced ang pagdadala sa kanya doon.
Well, that is normal for every client-lawyer relationship. Yung tinatawag nating confidence building measure, di ba? You don't want to antagonize your client. You don't want to threaten him, di ba? Kasi nga dumadaan na nga siya sa undue stress right now. Tapos dadagdagan mo pa. So syempre, kailangan niya papalakasin mo talaga ang loob, no?
Okay, Doc. Maganda yung at least na-explain mo rin sa akin yung gano'n. Kasi naisip ko yung sinasabi nila na yun nga kaya nangyari yan, but is because matagal na yung it was a case filed against him even prior to us leaving the ICC.
That is
di ba?
right.
So sabi nila it still holds water. Now, pero wala na 'yan, di na natin kasi nadala na siya. Pinag-uusapan na rin natin ngayon lang din yung tungkol sa yung pag-aresto sa kanya. What should have been done? Kasi ibang lagi hindi dapat 'yan ang ginawa nila. If it were done from your point of view, Doc, paano nila dapat ginawa yung pag-aresto or pag-serve ng warrant of arrest?
Number one, kinakailangan siguro talaga yung pagkakaroon ng isang warrant of arrest coming from a competent court in the country. Primarily because that is what is stipulated in the Rome Statute. Ganon din naman yung sinasaad ng Interpol, whatever it is. Whether it's a diffusion, whether it's a hot warning, whatever it is, ganon dapat.
So, let me just cut you agad. So dapat, para lang maalala ko, Doc, so dapat talaga, meron muna ditong partner court. I know I'm not too with the semantics of all these things, but parang may partner court which is a local one that will issue before the ICC issues one. Ganun ba?
Tama po yan.
Okay,
Or
sige.
they could actually cooperate with one another.
Okay.
Pwede rin man po
So
yan. Pero
complementary sila dapat.
kinakailangan meron.
Okay,
Kasi the person that is gonna be held in custody by that foreign institution or organization is a Filipino. And definitely, dapat kung meron tayong maliwanag na mga judicial proceedings and judicial system na umiiral, and I believe, and I would like to think it's still fully functional,
Okay.
kinakailangan, meron tayo nun dito. Pero ito ay hindi na ibigay sa kanya. Secondly, yung pagkakaroon ng legal counsel, I believe itong even the daughter, Sara Duterte, was not allowed. And Sara Duterte, the vice president, is her legal counsel. Kinakailangan maibigay din yun sa kanya. So what I'm saying here is that may mga rights of the accused na hindi naibigay kay former President Rodrigo Duterte. And this complicated the matter. Dito kasi pumapasok kung ano ba talaga yung intensyon, ano ba talaga yung motivation. Bakit minadali? Bakit hindi kinilala yung kanyang karapatan? Meron ba tayong gustong malaman right away? Bakit dinala siya kaagad? When in fact, as a Filipino, I believe that the state should actually be there to protect the person. Kung sakali naman na talagang may pagkakasala siya, hindi naman siguro tayo ang party para magsabi na huwag nating dalhin. Diba? Kasi at the end of the day, gusto nating malaman din ang katotohanan. And the only way by which we could do that is through a court hearing or through a trial. And we're not against that. But the procedure, kaya nga 'di ba, procedural requirement at the point of arrest, yun yung hindi po rito na natupad.
Hindi natupad.
Yes.
Pero is it parang kumbaga naandyan na nangyari? Is it admissible already? I mean, are we okay? Can we be okay with it? Kumbaga ganito yan, Doc. Pinag-uusapan natin, this is medyo mali talaga ito. Ganun. Pero nangyari na eh. Kumbaga, okay na lang ba yun? Or they're legally liable, those who arrested him? Are they to be penalized at some point na talagang hindi talaga pwede? So, they can bring these people to court in the same manner that they did this. They should be brought to court because the arrest was illegal.
Exactly the point.
It's not within the law.
Exactly the point, Sir Jojo. For me, it really sets a not so good precedent.
Okay.
Kasi kung halimbawa, ang perception natin meron tayong perfectly functional legal system dito. Although I wouldn't say it's perfect.
Okay.
Definitely it's not.
Yes.
Okay? Pero meron tayong legal system na umiiral sa Pilipinas. So kung halimbawa meron akong kaso, let's say nanakit ako ng asawa. Okay? And walang nagsampa ng kaso sa akin dito. Will the government report it to The Hague and then the government will take me?
Okay.
'Di ba? I mean, para saan pa na nagkaroon tayo ng mga korte?
Yes,
Diba? If we are not going to utilize them as legal recourse for the effective solution dito sa mga legal na mga problema na
Pero
kagaya
kasi
nito.
nga, Doc, ang kanilang contention is there's not going to be a proper dispensation of justice because the one involved is the one in power.
Yeah.
Ngayon, sabi naman, ewan ko lang kung sabi nung iba, pag daraw, you're the expert in here, Doc, please enlighten me. If there is daw a court case ongoing in the Philippines against the former president, will that still be okay for ICC to come in? Or that will be para bang pinalalabas ng, kumbaga in layman's terms, hindi nyo pala kaya, kami na lang. Baka raw mas lalong pangit naman for our justice system.
Politica all the way. Politica all the way. Politica all the way. Politica all the way. Politica all the way.
Kung meron na talagang gumugulong na kaso, and yun nga, yung trial has already begun, and maaring wala pa lang yung final verdict, hindi na to magiging hindi na to magiging moot and academic para sa ICC na manghimasok siya kasi na-fulfill na yung complementarity rule. Meaning to say, we are already, the wheels of justice is already moving. Kaya lang naman sila talaga nakapasok kasi nga yung kawalan ng kaso. At hindi ko talaga maintindihan from the get-go, Inamin na niya in live television that he was the one liable for
Yes.
everything. But true enough, wala pa rin nag-file ng kaso. Okay, even Laila de Lima was there. Former
Yeah.
Senator Laila de Lima used to be the Department of Justice secretary, was there, and they did not file case. So sometimes
They did not file a case during while the former president was
It was in
was still
power.
in power.
Yeah. Of
So
course.
dapat ang ginawa nila, dapat nag-file din sila. Sorry Doc, alam
Yeah.
mo, very interesting. I'm learning so
Yeah.
much. So dapat pala nag-file pa rin sila.
Nung
pero
panahon na siya
okay.
presidente, you cannot file any criminal or
because may
administrative case.
immunity.
May immunity siya.
Oo.
Pero right after na bumaba siya, and that was 2022, they could have already filed it. Pero the
okay.
problem is they did not. And so it comes to siguro may mga malilikot na pag-iisip no na sinasabi. Baka hindi sila nag-file. It's maybe because they're really waiting for the intervention to come from the outside.
ICC.
From the ICC. Kasi kung dito natin gagawin yung paglilitis, maaring magkaroon ng mga, alam mo na, cover-up, syempre
cover-up.
makapangyarihan
Yes,
siya,
yes,
dating
yes.
Pangulo, magkaroon ng whitewash doon sa mga ebidensya, and we will not be able to see the light at the end of the tunnel. Pero iba kasing usapin kapag sa labas nilitis. No? Kaya maaring yun yung dahilan bakit hindi sila nag-file.
You know, it's very interesting, Doc. You know, every time we talk about it, you know, it's I learn so much and I get the inner linings of it all. Pero maganda naman, President. Mas naiintindihan ko. So, parang lumalabas talagang highly political yung nangyari. Is that what you're saying?
Alam nyo, and I think this will go for sa ating mga kabayan na nanonood ngayon. Ano? Hindi to tungkol sa pangil at kakayahan ng ICC. Hindi to tungkol sa kanilang lakas. Basically because sa totoo lang, maraming mga kaso na final sa ICC na hindi naman talaga nila na-prosecute. O hindi nga sila pinapansin. Hindi nag-prosper. At sa dinami-dami ng kaso ng mga heads of state, parang hindi ako parang isa o dalawa pa lang yata yung naipakulong nila. Which means na wala talaga silang masyadong pangil. Pero ito kasi celebrated yung kaso. Pero kung titingnan natin, hindi sila yung kumuha. Kumbaga, isinuko lang natin. Yun, doon tayo nagkakaroon ng ano ngayon. It's all about the political noise that made the surrender, quote-unquote, possible. And it's not the grit and not the strength of the ICC that made it possible. Kasi yung kanila, it's just a warrant. Pwedeng hindi yan kilalanin. Pero tayo, kinilala natin and isinurrender natin. Willfully. Kaya, yun doon siya pumapasok.
Medyo pumapasok. So lumalabas talaga medyo very politicized itong nangyari na ito.
Highly politicized dahil maalala natin nung pagkatapos ng pagkapanalo ni Pangulong Bongbong Marcos, there was not even a mention of the ICC. Kung sakaling itinatanong to sa kanya, ano ang lagi niyang sinasabi? We will not cooperate. We will not cooperate. And then right now, because the unity has gone sour, and actually hindi lang sour, no, parang napanis na yata talaga, nawala na, and all.
Napanis na.
Okay. Kaya ang nangyari, biglang pihit siya, no? At sinasabi nga na dahil lamang sa isang Interpol notice, binigyan daan natin yung pagkakasurrender doon sa dating Pangulo. So again, a lot of people are saying that it's not a question about sovereignty because isang individual lang naman yung involved. Pero it's a question of sovereignty dahil it's a matter of jurisdiction. Sino ba talaga ang dapat masunod, 'di ba?
Doc, yung ano niyan na again, yung sinabi mo nga, tama naman sinabi mo na ano no. Now, minus the ICC, ang sabi naman nila is we're just being compliant and with the Interpol. Using the Interpol. Kasi ngayon naman, yan na naman in question naman with apart from the ICC, yan ang kine-question din ni Bato, ni Senator Bato, no? So, what's your take on this?
Kasi ang ICC, ang Interpol, it's a connection, it's a network. 195 police police net all over the world to.
Mas may teeth yan.
Meron.
Mas may teeth yan kesa sa ICC.
Meron.
Okay.
Pero yun nga, ang nangyari kasi dito, may warrant ang ICC. Pero ang wala kasing kakayahan ng ICC to issue the warrant. Wala naman silang militia, wala silang police force. So gagamit talaga sila ng Interpol. And the justification of the BBM administration is that they have to allow this because we are part of the Interpol at tinutulungan nila tayo. Okay. Which to many people, especially the supporters of the former president, is quite a lame excuse kasi maraming binibigay ang Interpol araw-araw ng mga notices. Mga
Okay.
diffusion, mga hot notice, pero hindi naman lahat ng bansa na binibigyan nila nito isinusurrender
Isinusurrender,
yung tao na hinahanap, no. So kagaya ngayon, no, nagkaroon ng meron tayong kaso with Congressman Teves,
Teves, yes,
na
oh.
nasa East Timor, pero anong
Hindi
sabi
hindi yata pinayagan,
hindi
ano?
pinayagan,
Oo.
'di ba? Hindi pinayagan kasi nga para sa kanila yun yung legal system na umiiral, and the rest of the international community should have to respect that. Kaya yun ang medyo sabi ko nga may konting irregularity.
Okay.
I'm not questioning the idea that he will be tried abroad. That's okay kasi nga wala tayong case na file dito eh. Pero what I'm trying to assail here is dapat nasunod yung tamang proseso. Kasi mahirap that we are crying for human rights. Kasi maraming nabiktima siya, no, allegedly doon sa kanya war on drugs. And yet yung human rights din na yun, hindi natin kayang ibigay doon sa tao. Na senior, na matanda.
You cannot give what you do not have.
Yes,
Ika nga, di ba?
diba?
Oh, hindi, pero alam mo, loko-loko, Dok, yung mga, pardon my word, no? Yung iba sinasabi, galing daw Hong Kong, ang lakas-lakas pag nandito. Meron nga silang sinasabi na ano ba yun? Yung wheelchair something.
Wheelchair diplomacy.
Wheelchair diplomacy.
Yeah, yeah.
Di ba? O, bandang huli, nagkakasakit na and everything, no? But anyway, minus that, alam ko naman, maganda yung sinabi mo na the part of the legality of it all, medyo mali yung process na sinundan nila. But hindi ka naman kumbaga, you are with the justice that should be
Of course.
done,
Yes,
di ba?
yeah.
And okay, we'll now go to the Vice President. Yan, the Vice President. The Vice President has an impeachment in the offing,
Yeah.
di ba? Right now, sabi niya, medyo ano na raw siya wala na raw siyang feelings Hindi na raw niya di ba? Will this in any way affect her impeachment?
Well, definitely, no.
Positively or negatively?
Well, depends on what will be the outcome of the elections.
Oh, okay.
Kasi remembered na itong impeachment na to wala na sa Kongreso. It's already in the court of the Senate. You know, they will be the ones that will be impeaching the VP Sara. But the thing is, the composition of this court of the Senate is yet to be decided because it will rest greatly on what will be the outcome of the 2025
Whether
elections.
it's more pro-administration or not.
Or not. Pero dito papasok yung complexity. Kaya nga kakaiba tong election na to Sa lahat halos ng election that
Pinaka-exciting ba, Doc?
I have studied, kakaiba tong election na to. Bakit? Hindi lang doon sa impeachment. Actually, the impeachment is already, parang it's already taken the plot, kumbaga. Pero it heightened furthermore leading into the climax dahil nga nagkaroon tayo nitong pag-aresto kay Pangulong Duterte. Kasi bakit ko nasabi?
Di ba nakatulong pa, Doc? Nakatulong pa ba kasi it's a toss-up At one point, it was a toss-up.
Yeah.
Yung iba, they're saying na wala na. Pero ngayon, but because of this, biglang parang sumipa siya.
Kasi yung narrative yung narrative ng mga kaalyado ni Pangulong Duterte, they always try to bring the narrative to the idea that here is a strong man, a populist president who tried to get rid the streets of the country from criminality, widespread drug addiction and all, and that he tried to make the country safer for us. Yun yung idea, na kailangan i-counter nung kabila. Ngayon, kung hindi nila ito maka-counter, parang ang nangyayari rito is yung messaging nila is parang restoration of order. Kasi itong panahon natin ngayon, nawala yung order na nangyari nung panahon ni Pangulong Duterte. So yun yung narrative, yun yung messaging right now. And I believe na itong mga kandidato ni Pangulong Duterte, let's face it, dalawa lang sa kanila talaga ang masasabi kong winnable. Dalawa lang. Okay? I have to be very blunt. We're contending with the reality of Philippine politics. No, you cannot win without machinery, without money,
That's right.
without messaging, without the man. That's That's how it goes.
no
Pero
matter how good in dancing and singing you are.
yes,
Ganun ba, Doc?
definitely. And nakita naman natin sa survey,
Yeah.
di ba? Pero it's like I said, parang nakakainggan yung tignan yung pagkakaroon ng mga pagbabago sa numero. Dito natin kasi malalaman kung may traction ba, may epekto ba yung nagawa na pagdakip at papadala sa ICC ng dating Pangulo doon sa mga kandidato na kanyang ini-endorso. Na yung iba rito talagang hindi nga natin masyadong kilala. Unless you're really in the political circle,
Right.
kilala mo sila. Pero kung if you're somebody like an ordinary Juan de la Cruz, you may have not yet encountered these names. No?
Right.
Pero it's going to create a great deal of interest, especially from, not only from observers, but from political science people, kung paano madadala nitong kasalukuyang sistema at sa kasalukuyang nangyayari, yung chances nitong kanyang mga kaalyado. So if the Duterte magic will hold, okay, in these elections, that will again complicate things, particularly in the impeachment.
You think the church, Doc, is divided with Duterte?
Politica all the way. Politica all the way. Politica all the way.
I don't think so, because
It's not
the church will always, being the harbinger of human rights
Right,
and morality and justice. Siyempre, doon
Andun
lagi
sila
yan sa tingin nila tama na pamamaraan ng pag-contain ng illegal na droga, which is not through itong war on drugs na
okay.
extrajudicial killings na binabanggit natin. So hindi ko nakikita yon as a potent factor basically. Pero syempre, lagi meron namang puwang ang simbahan doon sa diskurso natin.
Kasi laging isa rin yung sa mga binabato, lalo na doon sa
Yeah.
social media na
That's right.
you're asking for prayers, and then
Yes.
and yet the one that you're asking prayers for does not believe in God.
That's right.
Diba?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
parang
yeah.
very ironic.
Ironic,
No?
yeah,
Oo.
yeah. Very
Pero at one point yata sabi rin ni Digong pagdasal nyo na lang ako. minsan hindi mo na alam kung
Yeah.
anong pinanggagalingan, di ba?
Yun kasi ang talagang mahirap basahin, no, sa dating Pangulo. No? And I think even those people that are close to him, medyo they find it parang mind-boggling to some extent. Kasi paradoxical siyang tao. Di ba? Hindi mo maintindihan kasi iba yung action, iba yung sa sinasabi.
salita,
Iba rin naman doon sa demeanor na pinapakita. And I think that endeared Digong to the masses.
To the masses.
Kasi nakaka-relate eh. Kaya kung titignan mo, Sir Jojo, yung kanyang kampanya noong 2016 is so simple.
Yeah.
Diba? Para bang isa lamang yung binenta niya. The problem is drugs.
Yeah.
And everything else is related to
It's
that.
related to it.
Bakit may corruption? Kasi may droga. Bakit may kahirapan? Kasi may droga. Bakit may criminality? Kasi may droga. And binili ng tao yan because it's so simple. It's so easy to digest. Simple to understand. At yun yung siguro nakita ng maraming tao sa kanya. Kaya ngayon, meron siyang parang cult following eh. Kung makikita mo, di ba?
Oo, may ganun na nangyayari ngayon, regardless whether kung
Yeah.
right or wrong,
Right.
sumusunod sila, no? Kaya tuloy nagkakaroon ng mga away-away sa social media.
True.
Okay, do you believe in that what's happening in the social media or it's just only a certain percentage of truth?
Well, kasi
Kasi, di ba, daming gaya na huwag na kayo maniwala. Fake news yan, fake news. So, dito na lang kayo sa mga legitimate media centers, sa media network.
the thing kasi with social media is that it produces echo chambers eh. Di ba? Meron tayong tinatawag na analytics tsaka algorithms. Nalalaman ni Facebook o ni Meta
yes,
kung kanino ka kumakampi. At tatambakan ka niya ng mga content
Bobombahin ka kayo.
patungkol doon until such time na yung utak mo at yung iyong consciousness is sarado na para tanggapin naman yung diskurso ng kabila.
Oo.
And that is not fair, no? Hindi tayo nagkakaroon ng patas na pagtingin at pagbibigay ng siguro ng solidong judgment doon sa issue because we're only looking at one side.
Right,
no?
right.
So doon pumapasok yung fanaticism natin.
Fanaticism and chismis and
Yes,
fake news. But
exactly.
speaking of fake news or basta ito yung news na to, ewan ko kung fake o verified. We have yet to verify, no? Doc, itong ang chismis niyan na umabot sa akin is si Digong daw went to Hong Kong.
Yeah.
And then, because one, talagang scheduled naman yun, no?
Yeah.
But because weeks prior, meron ng chismis na, meron ng warrant, and
Yeah.
they're just waiting for the right perfect time to serve it.
Yes.
Eh, ang nangyari daw is, sabi niya, sige, punta ako dito. Sabi niya, ngayon, para hindi makagalaw, ang chismis yung pagbalik, tsaka sa kaya lang, umabot sa kanya, so he wanted a backdoor entrance to, or an entry to China,
China, yeah,
di ba?
yeah.
Which China naman, dininay daw
Yeah,
siya,
yeah,
apparently.
apparently,
Now, is there some truth in it? What do you think about it? Or ano na nangyari sa scenario na to?
Well, it's contrary to the position of China, no? Kasi kung totoo na humingi siya ng asylum sa China, with the manner in which he tried to pivot towards China, particularly yung foreign policy niya noong 2016 to 2022, I see no reason bakit hindi siya pagbibigyan ng Beijing na siya ay kuhanin, at least for the time being. But then again, kung titignan mo yung rhetorics tsaka yung pronouncements din naman ng China ngayon, they're very much against what happened. No? So I highly doubt it if President Duterte really tried to seek asylum in China. For all we know, alam talaga to ni Pangulong Duterte. And
yung pag-aresto sa
yung
kanya?
pag-aresto sa kanya.
On that particular day? Or
On that
ano?
particular day.
Oh,
On that
okay.
particular day, alam niya yan. And then, maaring ito yung kanyang ito yung paraan niya. You know, si former President Duterte kasi has so much up his sleeves dun sa tinatawag dating Duterte playbook. No? Pwede kasi na isa to sa paraan to galvanize him na dati siyang kalaban ng Estado dahil nga dito sa mga EJK na binibintang sa kanya at ipipihit niya yung imahe niya to a nationalist hero martyr. Diba?
Okay.
Kaya he willfully, submitted himself. And true enough, nakita natin yung traction sa tao, di ba? Para bang maraming natuwa, maraming nalungkot, pero mas marami yung nabigla.
Maraming nabigla.
And because of this, nagkaroon ng sympathy para sa kanya.
Para sa kanya. Pero there's some kasi that are saying na kasi ang pinaka is he's 80 years old
Yeah.
na nga naman, medyo may edad na. Pero that's precisely the reason why the Lady of Justice
Yeah.
is nakapiring .
Yeah.
It doesn't matter to
Yeah.
justice
Exactly.
whether you are old or
Yeah.
young, di ba? If it needs to be served, then it needs to be served.
Definitely.
Yun ang nakikita kong naman sa kanya. Yun ang personal ko lang,
Yeah,
no?
yeah.
Na pananaw kung bakit yung iba is strongly saying na yung kanilang he's 80 years old already, ganyan. But basing it on what you said earlier, yun din naman ang aking nakikita na parang railroaded,
Yeah.
no? Yun ang sinabi mo na there's so many things that is happening in my mind now. Sabi ko dito
Yeah.
pinag-uusapan natin not to resolve anything
Yeah.
but hopefully to come to a result, no?
Yun nga sinasabi nila, Sir Jojo, the beauty of politics is that it's the art of the possible. Diba?
Oh.
Hindi natin alam kung ano talagang punot dulo, hindi natin alam kung anong motivation, kung anong interest ang nakasalalay, pero meron at merong nangyayari at meron at merong kakahinatnan. And that is something na worth waiting, and this is something na gusto nating makita at the end.
Okay. In Davao, it's very interesting to note that the Nograleses is still in the fight, no?
Yes, yes.
Especially now na si Digong ay nasa ibang bansa na, si former President Duterte. How will that affect the elections there? Okay ba? Or is it going to be, what do you see?
Well, definitely, I think he's still a candidate. He's still a candidate kasi nga wala pa namang final verdict sa kanya. No? Dito naman sa Pilipinas, kahit nga may final verdict na, kahit nakakulong ka na, pwede ka pa rin humabol. So, nangyayari yun. At hindi lang pwedeng humabol, naboboto pa, nananalo. Diba? So, that's something. Pero ito kasi sa kaso niya, definitely, hanggat wala pang final verdict, he's still a candidate. And if he wins, come May 12, he definitely will be sworn into office still. Now, as to how he will be able to do this later on, after. Kasi after May 12, after the proclamation, wala na yung bola sa COMELEC . ang magde-decide na nito is the DILG. Based on Republic Act number 7160, the Local Government Code, maliwanag na kung meron talagang permanent vacancy dun sa position, magkakaroon tayo ng succession. So maaaring yung...
And you're saying that, Doc, I'm sorry, let me just cut you. Kasi if in case he wins, no? Oh, just in case in the scenario that he wins, tapos nandun siya and he's unable to fulfill his duties or at least yun man lang una na be sworn in.
Yeah.
So vacant yun. Hindi
Yes.
siya pwedeng umupo. They can give it to another one or assign a personality maybe.
May temporary vacancy kasi, no, that should only last for at least 30 days.
30
no?
days lang yan.
At least 30
Okay,
days. After that, parang pwede nang i-declare na permanent vacancy yung posisyon. And yun nga, batay doon sa umiiral natin na local government code, magkakaroon na ng succession. Ano? So maaaring yung vice president, mayor,
Vice mayor.
will now perform the duties of the mayor. And then yung first councilor will then become the vice mayor, no? Pwede pong mangyari 'yon. Like I said, pagdating na doon sa punto na natapos ng eleksyon at napanumpa na siya, wala na sa COMELEC 'yon. It's already with the DILG and how they will decide on it.
Look, you're an analyst, a pundit, you know, and patriot.
Yeah.
Of course, more than anything
Yes,
else.
yes,
You are
yes.
my political app. Itong nangyayari na to na kasi we're very divided, no?
Yeah,
Sadly,
yeah.
sadly we're very divided. Makikita mo yan especially in Facebook lalo,
Right,
yung mga
right.
social media, konting lang, daming nag-aaway, friends, even family. Yeah. What if you were okay, let's start from Duterte side. If you were to patch things up, what would you do and how would you do it?
Napakahirap na tanong.
Kasi ako iniisip ko rin eh. Alam mo kasi ako, I'm a guy who
Yeah.
wants to communicate. I'm a guy who would
Yeah.
reach out to you kahit masama ang loob mo sa akin. I'll try.
Para mo sinabing paano natin re-resolvehin ang corruption sa bansa natin. When in fact, it's skin deep, no? Actually, sa totoo lang, hindi ko ubos maisip din kumisan. Many of my musings and my realizations na nakakalungkot na itong ating bansa, we have so much potential. We have human capital, we have a lot of natural resources to boot. We are not a poor country. But you know what's weighing us down and what is holding us back from realizing this fullest potential into optimum utility is too much politics. And this has been going on and on and on. Na para bang hindi na
yes.
tayo natuto.
That's true, that's true.
Nakakalungkot na para bang history is going full circle. You know, same families, same personalities, may mga nadadagdag, pero the situation and the conditionalities
same.
is still the same.
Yes.
You know, it's as if wala tayong natututunan from our previous mistakes. And this really bothers me to no end kung bakit. No? And really, to answer that question, I think that will entail a considerable level of overhauling. No? Hindi ng sistema. No? But I
People.
think it's the people, the consciousness, the mind of the people, yung ating moral recovery. Ni hindi nga natin alam ngayon kung ano ba talaga ang isang Pilipino. Sino ba ang isang Pilipino? Yung imahe, yung socio-cultural connotation ng kung sino ang isang Pilipino, hindi maliwanag. Pag tinanong ka ngayon, sino ang Pilipino? Ano ang Pilipino?
Yeah.
Parang hirap sagutin, di ba? Kasi nga, wala tayong yung ganung trajectory, hindi natin establish over time. And when a country does not have that kind of identity, it's very difficult to actually tread its future. Kasi para sa atin, madaling mawala eh. Para sa atin, madaling kalimutan eh. Kasi wala naman tayong pagkakakilanlan.
Tama.
Yun yung kailangan nating simulan. A moral recovery program for everyone.
I so agree with you, Doc. Kasi I remember during my elementary days pa lang, at that time it was still the old Apo Marcos, no?
Yeah.
I have to give it to him, to the fellow, to the old man also. Kasi I remember in all of most of his speeches, both conversely and written,
Yeah.
lagi niya sinasabi na we should protect the we should protect the moral fiber of this country.
Right.
Yeah. Lagi niya, di ba, naalala mo naman niya, we were very young then.
Yeah, yeah.
Lagi moral. Noong una, hindi ko naisip na moral fiber. Ano ba yung parang ano ba yung moral fiber?
Pinya.
Pero ngayon naisip, tama no, Doc, no? Talagang, you have to protect the the integrity of being a Filipino no, that will ano, yung pati social consciousness natin.
Yeah.
Lalo ngayon with tawag dito with social media. Parang ang hirap i-contain eh.
Yes.
Parang paano ba natin magagawa yan, Doc? Ikaw ang analyst. Baka, you know,
Well, social media kasi for me, it's a two-edged sword.
Mm.
It could work for us, it could work against us. It could create greater polarization, but at the same time, it could create social cohesion, depending on what perspective we're looking at. Ang problema lang sa atin ngayon talaga, at this is a characteristic of Philippine politics, no? Talagang from the get-go, laging may black and white.
yes.
Laging merong opposing camps.
Well, you cannot be in the shade of gray kasi yung gray walang kwenta
Exactly.
yan. Kailangan black and white lang
The
tayo.
problem is when you are there on the opposing side, hindi tayo po pwede magkaroon ng point of commonality kasi kalaban kita. 'Di ba? Yung ganong mentality ang umiiral sa atin. Kaya sa totoo lang ang hirap, no. I'm going to speak in my own perspective. Whenever I go out of the country, alam mo 'yun, and I see how they're doing it, the systems.
Yeah,
Parang ang sarap isipin na bakit hindi natin 'to magawa dito?
exactly.
Why
Diba?
are we not able to do this? And the
Right.
problem again is because we are confronted with too much politics.
Too much politics. Right,
And that
I-
is
I agree.
wearing us down.
Oo nga eh.
Di ba?
Nakakalungkot, Doc. I'm enjoying our conversation. Bigla ako nalungkot. Ayan, yung mata ko yun, naiiyak na ako. Diba?
Natiri.
Kasi, alam mo, tama eh, you see, especially when you go abroad, you see parang, this can be done in our country,
Yeah.
no?
Pero
We have
bakit hindi
much
nagagawa?
Bakit hindi nagagawa eh?
At ang nakakalungkot, pagdating mo, syempre, pag nasa abroad ka, parang ang sarap. Everything is good, everything is good, is fine. Pagdating mo sa NAIA, you go back to the same old problem.
That's right.
Traffic,
Oo.
pollution, and all. When in
right.
fact, di ba, in other countries, they're able to do it, to
Right.
do it right.
Right.
Bakit nila nagagawa yun? Because they are not too much clouded with too much politics.
Too much
Ang
politics,
focus
oo.
nila hindi politika, ang focus nila governance.
Governance.
Ang focus nila is how they will make lives convenient and better for the people.
Genuine love for country and genuine dedication to service.
Exactly.
No? I think
Exactly.
yun ang kailangan natin. Kaya tama si Apo Marcos, lalo sinabi niya ngayon lang, I go back, yung disiplina ang kailangan. I think discipline is
true.
yung moral fiber is okay. From the point of view naman of the president, he's the one in power kasi si Presidente Digong wala na siya eh.
Yeah.
So siguro ito naman, again, nanonood kasi sa ating mga para lang at least manggaling ko kay Jojo yan tsaka kay Doc C. What if ever there would be how can he do it para to or if at all it's possible to not make amends but to put things in order
Yeah.
with the Duterte group. Kasi dalawang dynasty na lang halos ngayon na naglalaban eh. How what is your
Politica all the way. Politica all the way. Politica all the way.
Medyo tightrope kasi dito talaga si Pangulong Marcos, no. Number one, hindi niya po pwedeng hindi tugunan itong problema ngayon because nangyari na, and it was a decision of the government to surrender him to the ICC. So kailangan niyang balikatin yan. At the same time, kailangan niya rin tignan kung ano yung backlash effect nito, especially in the coming elections. Meron siyang 12 na
Yes,
sinusuportahan. And the thing is, pwedeng magkaroon siya ng centrist positioning dito, no?
Okay.
Na hindi ka masyadong papaling dito, hindi ka rin naman pero you maintain the fluidity of your motion and your decision making by putting it on the center. And what could be a better way of doing this is by focusing on the economic imperatives of the country. If you make the lives of the people better,
That's right.
you focus on curbing down the inflation rate, you focus on job creation, you focus on making the peso dollar more stable, the exchange rate. That will be something that the people could see. And that will veer them away from the political noise that is happening.
Tama.
Kasi at the end of the day, ang kumakalam na sikmura, siya yung nag-fuel para sa mga revolution. Lahat ng revolution sa buong mundo, mula sa kauna-unahang panahon, it was fueled because of empty stomachs.
Tama.
Hindi lang yung tiyan nila nagre-revolution, pati yung mga isipan nila. Yes.
Oh.
And it makes them fight.
Right.
The status quo, because para sa kanila, entitled sila na mabago yung status quo. They're challenging the system.
Right. I think that's one of the best solutions that I I encounter.
Yeah.
And not naman to regard me as magaling, hindi sa
Yeah.
pag inaano ko yung sarili ko. Pero alam mo, Doc, I agree with you 100%, 101% with what you said, na dapat i-focus na lang niya is wag na siyang makialam sa mga politics of it all.
Yeah.
Not even yung mga, kung sinasabi niya, lagi sabihin na lang niya siguro na, yun na nga, yung it's not in my hands anymore,
Yeah,
no?
yeah.
Na let's focus on the work at hand
Yes.
for the people. I think that's the best advice that you
Yeah.
can give, and that's the thing that should be done from the very beginning.
And this is of course something that he should walk the talk, definitely.
Yeah, so-
And sa totoo lang naman, in fairness naman, and I've been studying the economic imperatives of the country. We're the trajectory of our economy is doing well relative to our other countries in Southeast Asia, for instance. Pero hindi pa natin makita ngayon how big this political storm is going to take effect pagdating doon sa foreign direct investments.
Yeah. So totoo yung nangyayari ngayon na ang economy natin is going very well.
It is.
It is on an upward swing.
It is. If you're going on the macroeconomic aggregates,
Yes, oo.
no? Pero
Of
kasi
course, dun muna lang. Magti-trickle down pa naman na matagal. No?
Oo, yun nga lang. Siyempre, iba yung nangyayari talaga on the ground, at iba yung talagang nararanasan ni ordinary Juan de la Cruz. Pero at least, the foundations have been laid, and the foundations is supposed to be strong para masiguro natin na maganda yung magiging future.
Okay.
And that's something I think that this current administration has planted somehow. But the thing is, syempre, hindi kasi po pwede na doon ka lang. Hindi po pwedeng yun lamang ang
Yes.
pagtutuunan mo ng pasen. Syempre, marami ka pang ibang kailangang gawin, lalong-lalo na dito sa question nga halimbawa ng peace and order. Kasi mahirap para sa isang bansa na umunlad kung may question sa security tsaka peace and order. If you're a foreign investor, will you invest in a country na mayroong problema sa seguridad? May
Yes,
problema sa karahasan? Definitely hindi. No? I'd go for some other country na mas tahimik. Diba?
That's right, that's
So, kailangan tignan din ito ng ating Pangulo.
Wow. Look, alam mo, ang dami ritong supposed to be na meron pa tayong mga IQ, yung mga internet questions. No?
Okay.
Kaya lang, can we do this pa? Let's do that. Alungkot naman ako, biglang. Well, anyway, look, sige, ito, we just need to do this.
Yeah.
Ito yung on a personal note.
Alright.
If you were to sing now in a karaoke, what would you sing? What's your first song? What's your EJK? Yan. Alam mo yung EJK?
What is EJ?
Yung EJK, yung entertainment jamming karaoke. Yun, ang EJK song mo. Yan. For entertainment jamming karaoke. Anong kakantahin mo? What's your first warm-up song? Yan. Pag tinawag kita, ano?
Ito, pareho naman tayong 80s,
Oo.
Sir Jojo. Siguro Billy Joel's We Didn't Start the Fire.
But we didn't start the... 1, 2, 3. We didn't start the fire. Kailangan mo yata ng lyrics.
Yeah. Well, because that song holds a lot of not only nostalgic.
Yes.
Pag tinignan mo kasi yung kanta na yon, wala naman talaga siyang messaging basically. Pero lahat lang ng mga bagay-bagay na nangyari from 1969 hanggang 1989.
Nandun. That's correct.
So,
And we can learn-
historical, political.
Yes. Magaling si Billy Joel.
Yes,
Talagang,
yes.
yung pala EJK song mo, ha? And ano yan, ha?
Yeah.
Executive jamming karaoke. Okay. Doc, your prayer now for the country, what is it that you are praying for?
Well, of course, yun nga, we are at a critical juncture, I would say. Mahirap tong ating nilalangoyan na panahon ngayon. Definitely because hindi natin alam kung saan talaga tayo papunta, especially with the socio-political happenings that is, currently hurdling us, like I said a while ago, from realizing our fullest potential. Pero I think as a country, as a people, we really need to do this. I think this elections is going to be very, very crucial, not for any politically motivated or any politically charged issue, but I think this will pave the way again. Lahat naman ng election para sa akin is always, always symbolizes a ray of hope. Yun nga lang, kumisan, nandun lagi yung pagkakamali natin. And I think that's the beauty of democracy. Nagkakamali tayo, pero may pagkakataon pa rin naman tayong tapusin or baguhin yung trajectory ng ating kapalaran. And I hope that these elections, no, magawa natin yun.
Well, that being said, Doc, with you around, there's always hope. At least you are my political app. When I say app, you are an analyst,
Yeah.
you are our pundit, and more than anything else, you're a patriot. And I know you're doing this, sharing your thoughts and your expertise for the country and for our people. So, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Everything para sa ating inang bayan.
Wow. Doc Calilong,
Thank you.
thank you on
Thank you.
Politica All the Way. Maraming salamat. Sayang kulang tayo sa oras, Doc. But thank you very much.
No worries.
Politica.
Okay, again, maraming salamat to Dr. Calilong for guesting with us dito sa Politica All the Way. Just a quick recap, sabi niya po, naging questionable yung paghuli simply because there are legal loopholes that were not met. No? So, kaya lang, sabi niya rin, naandyan na nga yan, so it has happened already. So, yung mga both parties involved will just have to contend with what needs to be done sa mga susunod na mga araw, susunod na mga buwan. No? And then, for BBM, sabi niya, he just needs to focus more on the economic side of it para yung mga tao will be focused more on their families, and jobs, no? So may andyan yung job creation, more economics, no? Than politics para doon na mag-focus ang mga tao. One very important thing also is moral integrity, no? Yung moral recovery ng ating bansa, importante din po yan, ating moral fiber. We also talked about that, no? And lastly is siya ay fan ni Billy Joel. Yun ang maganda. On the fire. So, makakatuwa naman, no? We'll have him back again here in the Politica All the Way. At dyan po nagtatapos ang Politica All the Way. Lagi po natin tatandaan, diskusyon lang po tayo dito, hindi po away. Opinion, hindi personalan. This is Jojo A. Peace and love.
Politica all the way. Politica